Hello and welcome to Mr. Titan. It is your boy MJ from Sports Fan Entertainment making an appearance on Mr. Titan for the first time. We luckily got to meet up for the first time last week at Mr. Titan's event here in Nashville, Tennessee. I had a great time and figured what better opportunity than to come on and preview Titans versus Browns the following week.
Let's do it, man. Tighten up. Let's get it going.
McNair gives it to George running right up the middle. Touchdown! Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle!
Safety, now you're one-on-one with it.
Shows why he's the man! In trouble. Sack!
We have Cleveland Browns, as we saw them play with the Monday night game against the Steelers. Didn't look too pretty. And then you have the Tennessee Titans, which had a bounce back game from week one where they didn't look pretty at all either. What are your expectations as of right now? What's something that you're looking forward to in this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm really anticipating is like a defensive battle. Like if you watch the Monday night game, Steelers and Browns, something similar to that. Now, luckily, I don't think that Tano's going to play as poorly as Kenny Pickett did because he was really struggling in that game. But the Browns defense right now, they're on point. I mean, they look really good. They look really solid. We're getting a nice break that Greg Newsome, their cornerback, will be out for this game, but they still have Myles Garrett. They still have Zadarius Smith. They still have Grant Delpit. They still have Denzel Ward. It's a very, very talented defense. And we're facing a familiar opponent in Deshaun Watson. He's someone that knows this team pretty well. I think the last time we really played was 2021. And our secondary looks pretty different than then, except for like maybe Christian Fulton and Kevin Byard, but still a familiar opponent and an opponent that, he's familiar with, someone that he definitely still probably has a little bit of a grudge against and still wants to come out and show up against. Luckily, I don't think he's playing very well. I don't think he's going to play very well. I think he is quote unquote cooked. And I'm anticipating that as well. So as long as Ryan Tannehill can again show much more of what he showed in week 2 versus week 1, I think we're in solid footing here. But it will be a struggle to score points because that defense is legit.
So you think it's basically both good defenses and see what's going to happen with the offense, basically, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's pretty much what I had expected as well, just because. Yeah, that defense. Did you see that Myles Garrett? I think he had like an interview and he had his shirt off. I was like, that is a scary man, bro. Like, that's a big boy.
Yeah. I mean, I say when it's coming out, and I stand by it. While you could argue, like a Nick Bosa is better than him, or like maybe, another pass rusher or two. I said he's the best defensive end prospect I've ever seen. Like in terms of scouting, and I've been scouting since like 2012. He's by far the most impressive.
Yeah, 100%. Now we have some good news, man, or some bad news. Depends on what you like. They did the injury report, active roster from practice squad. We got linebacker Chance Campbell, and hey, Mason Kinsley is back in the. All right, if you're a big Mason fan, I'm not a big fan of Mason. That's me being sarcastic. I don't know. How do you feel about Mason Kinsley?
He's fine. I mean, he's again, he's a practice squad level player. If he ever does anything, let me know.
Yeah. Well, I believe. Well, obviously, we have placed on injury reserve is Curious Jackson, and that's probably why he's been moved up to active roster. Probably is going to get some punt returns and kickoffs, and that's where they'll stick him in. I don't think you'll see him too much on the field, hopefully.
Yeah, that's fair. Kieris, I did like as a return of being come back healthy, because I think he was someone that could actually bring some life to our return game, because there really hasn't been much of that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good, and he looked good in preseason and a couple of the games, but again, being always injured and stuff, it's always a problem. And like I said, he was kind of someone I looked forward to, during the regular season. Like I said, you see a little bit of glimpse of someone actually, providing that spark, because damn, we hadn't had a spark like that since Pac-Man Jones? Can I say that? Maybe.
Oh man, yeah, basically, yeah.
So having that, would be nice. They waived from active rosters linebacker Otis Reese as well. D-Hop was limited, but it seems like there's a trend going on, right? It seems like there's a trend of him being limited, not playing too much. And they said before of him not practicing or not. Do you think he plays this week or no?
Yeah, I definitely think he'll play. It was much more of a question last week for me than as opposed to this week. I definitely think he's going to play. He's going to be out there. I think they're just being precautious with him. And, he is I know it's not even that advanced for a lot of us, but 31, 32 is an advanced age for a wide receiver. So they're being cautious with his ankle. But I fully anticipate him to play. But again, I want to see, though, and it was nice. He had the big catch at the end of the game to put us in field goal range.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nice to see Treylon Burks, step up and lead the team in receiving yards. And I think the more ideal scenario is that that's what he continues to do. I want Treylon Burks to be pushed to be that number one guy. That way, at least we know we have that number one guy moving forward. So it's just another opportunity for Treylon Burks to step up.
And that's technically, it's almost a little bit of, obviously you want D-Hop because you want another valuable, wide receiver, but you want him to mentor for Treylon Burks so that he can elevate his game. Because everyone said it before, unless you don't know football, is we have D-Hop, but now that gives chances for, Burks to shine. He'll get that one-on-one coverage that he has, and hopefully like he shows through. But you know what? The person I think that's kind of surprised a little bit, like surprised me, and it shouldn't, but is Westbrook Akina. I think he's the one that's shining out of all three of them, just because he kind of seems like that he's getting separation from the double team and Burks and stuff.
Yeah, he's looked good. I think it's a benefit for him whenever he is the number 3 or number 4 option. That way he can, separate at the goal line. He's able to use his size and his height and his athleticism to come down with catches, and there's less pressure on him. 100%. So I like him in that role. I've never been a big hater when it comes to Nick Westbrook. I think he's just, he is what he is. I don't think you want him to be your number 2, for God's sake. Luckily they signed DeAndre Hopkins, so that's no longer the case. Yeah. And then Kyle Phillips, the ghost of Kyle Phillips, is still roaming out there. Maybe he'll show up or not. I have no idea whenever he actually comes back or not. But yeah, in this role, he definitely is succeeding.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the less pressure, the better for him. As a young, what's his second or third year already in the league, I think it's good for him not to put too much. I think if you put too much pressure, it's not good. But so let's talk about, is there anything else that's concerning or something that you look forward to for the Sunday? I want to really see for this Sunday is just how the offense, deals with the defense. Again, offensive line, we've been having issues. We had slow starts, obviously. The Saints game was bad. The Chargers game took a little bit longer to kind of get the wheels going, but eventually did a somewhat decent job of blocking Tannehill, not the greatest, but now they're playing probably right now one of the top defenses they've played so far. So that's something, can they withstand and hold their own against the defense?
Yeah, for me, I think Andre Dillard, we have to see a little bit more when it comes to the left tackle position. Again, it was interesting, when we went into the offseason and everything, and Andre Dillard was basically gifted the starting job at left tackle. And right now he's being credited with 3 sacks. And Dennis Daly last year was credited with, I want to say 10 or 11. So he's already on pace to beat that. Now this is in more games because I think Dennis Daly played, I think maybe a 13 game or something like that, but still it's not great. So definitely need Andre Dillard to step it up on that side. But luckily, Chris Hubbard's been playing well at right tackle. I'm very interested to see when Nicholas Petit-Frere comes back what they plan to do. Because you could even argue Chris Hubbard has been better than Nicholas Petit-Frere was last year. But he's obviously the draft pick of the younger guy that you want to start. So luckily, we have some depth. We have Dylan Radins now. We have Chris Hubbard. We have actually some offensive line depth finally in Tennessee. And everyone, Squonks is going through his appendectomy right now. But outside of that, health is not a concern. So you feel better about the offensive line, but I want to see how they continue to play.
100%. Now, keys to victory. What are the keys to victory for the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, so keys to victory for me, definitely limiting big plays down the field from Deshaun Watson. While I do think he is cooked, he still has the ability to throw the ball
Still
downfield, still
capable.
has the ability to find Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, etc. So definitely want to limit those big time plays that he's very capable of doing. I think that's key number one. Key number two, the run game will be difficult. I mean, last week we averaged, I think, like 3.2 yards a carry with Derrick Henry. I'm anticipating something very similar, but don't panic, right? If the run game is not super successful, don't panic. Don't start rushing and trying to force balls and create turnovers, which will absolutely kill this team against the Browns. If you give them opportunities to make plays on the ball, they absolutely will. And then I think the last key would just be just a healthy dose of using every weapon in the receiving game. So using a decent amount of Traylon, using a decent amount of DeAndre, using a decent amount of Tyjae Spears. I said even a couple of days ago, I'm so thankful that we actually now have a backup running back that actually can make plays, because
Yeah.
I was never a fan of Darrington Evans. I didn't understand the draft pick when we drafted him. He never did anything.
He like playing more video games than playing football, man.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had, the little Dion Lewis and Dexter McCluster. Shout out Dexter McCluster. I do like it. But this is now a time when we have like a really dynamic backup running back that can go in and really make significant plays. I don't think that they should have a split carry or split snap split like they had in week 1. Week 2 was more Henry than Spears, and we won. I think that's not a coincidence. So, but a healthy dose of Spears will always be nice.
Yeah, I think using him, they haven't used him too much in the passing game yet. That's one thing he possesses a little bit better than Derrick Henry. But I mean, making his cuts and stuff. I mean, he looks good. That's like that nice 1-2 punch that we were expecting with all these players, right? We wanted Derrick Henry to finally Dion Lewis is here, okay, and then Dion Lewis didn't do anything, and they were kind of really predictable with Dion Lewis, as well as Derrick Henry would go out on third down, and Dion Lewis, it's a screen pass, and it usually got blown up for negative yards. So yeah, I agree. I like Tyjae Spears a lot. I like what he's given this team, and he just runs with such a pace that you can tell like it's exciting, because Derrick Henry, unfortunately, guys, it's not going to be here for the long run. So I mean that is the future of the Tennessee Titans right there. So what do you think about the score? I don't like giving numbers. But I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I see the Titans maybe like sneaking a victory out between 3 points, maybe 3-point game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think very similarly. So my official prediction is Titans 17, Browns 13. So
Okay.
yeah, again, not a believer in this Brown, especially without now Nick Chubb. We got very fortunate to see. So this is how the injury bug can now work, right? We were so unfortunate when it came to injuries the last couple of years, and now the injury bug is working for us. We met the Chargers without Austin Eckler. I still believe if Eckler would have played, we probably would have lost the game, but that's fine. He didn't play. I'm fine with that. And then now Chubb isn't going to play. And without Nick Chubb, I know Kareem Hunt is very familiar with the system and the scheme and whatnot, but I mean, he's teetering on down. I don't know what shape he's in right now. So, and Jerome Ford, I don't really know much about him. So I think this is just a contest where the Browns are going to struggle to score points. Deshaun's going to give us opportunities to make plays on the ball, and the Titans end up on top in a defensive effort.
There we go. Sounds good, man. I want to appreciate you for coming on. It's always good to talk football, and you're always welcome back on, man. All right.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Tighten up, man. Tighten up.
Yeah, tighten up.